All right, so if I'd like to talk a little bit about what I think 2022 represents, Tina and I and others kind of talked and felt like this was a good year of growth for us. And while we say growth, you might think, well, we're not necessarily getting bigger in terms of numbers, but we are getting bigger in terms of the activities and the things that we do with greatness, and often with less resources than we have in the past. So what that means is that the individuals are doing these efforts and putting together new programs and such, are doing it out of the labor of love. And I would say for certain that there are so many people that have been involved in that over the last year. I like to say that the School of Optometry is small but mighty, and it takes a village to do all the things that we do. So while not everyone who is on these slides or has their name mentioned is in this room, and not everybody in this room will be on a slide, it takes all of us together, working together in order to make the School of Optometry happen from all the aspects that are important in its mission. You'll see some pictures of students and faculty doing great things, those that have won awards and been recognized nationally. But behind the scenes, there are many hardworking people that are allowing those things to happen. So that means that everyone plays an equal role in ensuring that our school succeeds. So I thank you for all those efforts. I'd like to recognize a few specific groups of people that are important to the school. This is your dean's group. It is the group of associate deans and leaders that, I want to say sit around, but get together weekly to talk about the directions of the school. Sometimes our activities are, you might say, trivial, like for instance, this week we talked about which email lists should be updated or eliminated. That helps with the efficiency, we know, but not necessarily a earth-shattering task. But then we also acted on a recommendation from the hardworking curriculum committee to make some changes to one of our programs. So the span of activities happens from week to week, month to month. And I can with 100% assurance tell you that this group of people is working on your behalf day in and day out, really 100% for you and the school. So thank you, Dean's Group. And I asked Tina to put this slide together of the directors at the school. And when I say it takes a village, I think you see that here. We have many, many roles and positions that need to be fulfilled. We have externship, residencies, many other director of somethings in our school. So a lot of faculty and staff are involved in very important critical missions. And it really does, again, take a village, and we are small but mighty. Behind each of these individuals, though, there's many staff members, other faculty who are doing hard work day in and day out to make sure we succeed. If I could have a round of applause for our Dean's Group and all of our directors. Thank you. I thank them for their tireless dedication. We also have an important committee I'd like to mention to you. This is called the Dean's Strategic Advisory Committee. And this committee is made up specifically of representatives from a variety of different constituents that are important to the school, including our alumni, faculty, staff, students, others in the community that provide guidance and help us with our strategic plan. In this next year, 2023, we'll be working on a revision to our 5-year strategic plan, similar to the university, which was also going to be doing the same thing, for sort of a launch of the new 5-year strategic plan in January 2024. So I'm putting this group up there so you can see who they are, because over the next year, they're going to be getting input from you through a variety of committees and such to ensure that our strategic plan represents sort of the initial ideals and principles set forward by our founders, but sort of modernizes it so that we can continue to move into the next 5 years. So if I could have a round of applause for this committee, I'd appreciate it. They say you should never thank people in advance for their work, but in this instance, I think it's very appropriate because this is so important to our school going forward. So being open to diversity certainly attracts the best talent. Inclusiveness engages talent. It helps us to all succeed. And with that, though, comes some opportunity for us to recognize our blind spots and work together to make us all better together. We have a very diverse student body, a very diverse faculty and staff. Of course, we can always be better, but I do like to recognize where we come from. The Office of Diversity here on campus has a dashboard. So each year we submit this information to them, and through some of our own metrics, you can find this again on their website. Sort of a breakdown of who we are. And I think even if you can't read the very small print on the left-hand side, that's the figure caption, you can see that across the board, we do represent a broad group of people with different ideas, and bringing those ideas together to the table helps us all do a better job so that we can reflect the patients that we're going to see, the care that we're going to provide, the training that we're going to provide moving forward into the future. So I'm proud of our breakdown and how diversity, equity, and inclusion is something that's meaningful to our school. Of course, patient care is a hallmark of what we do. It's what you're all being trained for. And we take great pride in ensuring that our clinical activities are always being reevaluated and improved. For those of you who went through all the CompuLink changes recently, I mean, that's actually an ongoing thing. I appreciate your efforts in ensuring that we provide good patient care and train successful optometrists. So in summary of our patient care, we see over 25,000 patients in our clinics. That's a lot of patients that come through our doors that you're smiling at, greeting, taking care of, diagnosing, and treating. And we're appreciative of all of them. Some of you are some of them. You actually might be patients of our clinic. We added 2 new in-house clinics this year and 2 external clinics this year that we're extremely proud of. The 2 new in-house clinics are the adult diplopia clinic that's led by Dr. Christine Hopkins, and then Dr. Natalie West oversees a new pediatric aphakia clinic. Before we jump into those, I want to review the 2 external clinics. Dr. Andrew Rothstein leads the optometry services at the UAB 1917 clinic, which is a large HIV healthcare unit, one of the largest in the country. This is the first time that eye care services have been provided there, and so we're incredibly proud that we are able to assist in providing on-site eye care clinic at the clinic. Dr. Janine Sims and Dr. West are attendings at United Ability, which is a nonprofit that provides innovative services connecting people with disabilities and allowing them and empowering them to be able to live full and meaningful lives. Dr. Sims is the attending at Link Point, which is United Ability's adult clinic once a month. Some of you have been there with her. And Dr. West is serving as the attending in the pediatrics clinic, and others of you will get a chance to go there as well. Each of these patient populations are unique and have particular needs that our teams are able to provide, and that's why we're in those settings. So thank you to all of those who have started these clinics, have any role in getting our patients there, or getting patients seen in those environments. So here's a very fun story. I'm actually really inspired by this story. This is an infant that was seen in our new pediatric aphakia clinic. This is baby Cash. Isn't he cute? So baby Cash basically had surgery for cataracts when he was really young. And so then because of that and not being able to put implants in his eyes due to his size and perhaps the need for, additional surgeries as time goes on in his life, the option was to fit in with hard contact lenses. So he came over, was referred over, and was seen in our clinic by Dr. West, who fit him in rigid contact lenses. And you can imagine these lenses. He doesn't have a lens, so they're very high-powered lenses. Mom has to be taught how to take care of the lenses and things like that as well. And so it is, it's, I think, an incredible challenge. It's one I know I couldn't do. And I'm very appreciative of anybody who's been involved in the care of this sweet little guy. Cash's mother, Hannah, said that the experience at the School of Optometry hasn't been the easiest, but seeing how big his smile is and how interactive he is once his contacts are in makes it all worth it. And I'm sure that some of you that were part of his care experienced that as well. It really can be life-changing. We look forward to watching this clinic grow and also positively impact other babies who might have similar needs. Our people, our knowledge, but also our space are critical to ensuring our mission and really excellent patient care. So to that end, the space that was formerly the optical was repurposed in 2022. Now what's in that place, while the optical is moved to the center of the clinic, it houses 7 new exam lanes, housing specialty clinics and UOG, 2 conference rooms, office space, and additional patient seating. These school-wide renovations have been ongoing and began in 2018. And I think some of you voted for this because in 2018, actually this past year in 2021, the People's Choice Award by Birmingham Americans Institute for Architecture was won by Birchfield Penuel and Associates, who were the architects of this project. You all, I think Satina sent out a note and said, please write in for the People's Choice Awards. And I have some friends who are architects who were super surprised that a School of Optometry building project actually won one of their main awards. And so I think that kind of shows how happy we are that these renovations have occurred. And for those of you who are newer in the optometry program, be thankful because you didn't have to go through those renovations. You know how hard it is when we have one elevator. Well, it was like that for a really long time. Education is kind of why you're all here and why sitting in this room. Every day we're training future optometrists and vision scientists to enter out into the world and be leaders in their field. So not only do we hope that you'll take with you the clinical skills and the knowledge, but you'll be able to translate that as leaders directing the future of optometry and vision science in the, making change in the future. So who are we in terms of the numbers? Well, we currently have 211 optometry students amongst the 4 classes. There are 10 students that are in dual degrees, which is about 5% of our student body are doing either a combined ODMS, ODMPH, or ODMBA. It ranges, goes up and down a little bit between, I'd say 5 and 10%, depending on whose interest in the program. In this past year, we had graduate 1 combined ODMS students, although several entered into the program as well. So we'll have a bolus graduating in a few years in the ODMS program. We had 4 PhD students graduate in the Vision Science graduate program this past year, and there are actually many more, that are a handful that are slated to graduate within 2023, and we're really proud of them. Dr. Pate, along with her residency committee, continues to grow our residency program. In 2022, a new residency in ocular disease with an emphasis in refractive and ocular surgery became available through our School of Optometry offerings. It's based in the Eye Center of Texas in Houston, and there are 4 positions there. This accredited program joined us in June of 22 with the new residency cycle this year. Adding this residency brought our total number of residency programs at the school to 8 and a total of 16 residents. So those of you who might be thinking about a residency, I encourage you to talk to any of our faculty and Dr. Pate to find out more. Our student affairs team really does an outstanding job, and it starts in getting you all here through the admissions process. So over the past year and even into this year for our new class of 2027, many applicants are interviewed, and several of you who are in this room obviously have chosen to come and join us. 1,586 graduates have graduated from our program. So what that means is this spring, when we have graduation, we will achieve 1,600. So one of our 4th years, maybe one of our 4th years here in the room, depending on the alphabet, will be graduate number 1,600. So who is it going to be? Time will tell. I'd like to have a round of applause and a big shout out and thanks to the admissions committees for both the OD program and the Vision Science graduate program. Without them bringing all of you here, we all wouldn't be here. So please give them a round of applause. This year we started a new program that was many years in the planning. It's a Doctor of Optometry program for international optometry students. These are students that have an optometry degree from another recognized country. So they've achieved either a bachelor's, master's, or even a doctoral degree in optometry and would like to do the accelerated program in order to be licensed in the United States. So 3 students were welcomed as part of this cohort, our first cohort in 2022. Dr. Jennifer Craig started them off with some clinical skills, and then others started to get involved in their continual training, and they assimilated into the 3rd year curriculum. There are only 3 international programs similar to this in the United States, so we're getting a lot of interest, students that want to come to our program. So over the next couple of years, we intend to grow the program slightly and make some fine-tuning types of efforts in order to allow the students in the program for continued success, because we want this program to be very successful for the students that have chosen to join us for another degree in optometry. This past year, we had the great opportunity through a generous gift from Cooper Vision for our first faculty scholar. So Dr. Adam Gordon is our first faculty scholar at the school, and he is named the Cooper Vision Endowed Scholar in Myopia Management and Contact Lenses. Dr. Gordon has been a faculty member for many years at the school here, and he currently serves as our department chair. He was chosen for this gift because of his knowledge in contact lens management and really his commitment to the profession. He is an exemplary educator of his patients, students, and the cornea and contact lens residents that he annually supervises. We are so pleased that with CooperVision's help, we are able to honor him and further his endeavors. Community engagement, I think, is at the heart of what we do, honestly, at the School of Optometry. UAB gives back to the community and likes to be out in the community. We're a very philanthropic place, and I think that makes us unique. Engaging with the community has twofold purpose for all of us here at the school. This outreach provides eye and vision care to those in need, and then also provides valuable experiences for students, hopefully catching a fire in your heart so that you'll want to do community outreach as you move into different communities as you're an optometrist. So I hope that you will get a little bit of a spark there that you'll continue with as you go on. I do also want to point out that while some of you, might think that community engagement, being out in the community isn't fun, doesn't that look fun? Having some fun, right? It's hard, but it's very rewarding. So in the past year, over 7,000 patients were seen, and a lot of that is basically free service or reduced cost service. And look at all the eyeglasses that were donated and given to those patients. That can impact patients' quality of life significantly, allowing them for perhaps changes in their job or their family and their lifestyle. So it's a great effort. This makes a difference to patients' lives throughout Birmingham, but also the state and region, and I think that's very important. Also, many of you participated in the Gift of Sight, which is sort of our culmination event of the year in terms of giving back to the community. And Dr. Janine Sims, probably has led that over all of its 9 years. So, and I think if you asked her, she'd say, yes, it's very important, but this is what we do every day. So we give back to the community. And while this might be a hallmark event, it still is part of the collection of activities done annually. 216 patients were seen and taken care of. So I want to thank all of you who participated in that. It's a very rewarding experience to be able to give back. This year we had a new partnership with the community, and this is kind of a story that stood out to me. In partnership with the Alabama Appleseed Center for Law and Justice, the CEC team does help eliminate the barrier of eye and vision care needs for those that are preparing to re-enter society after being incarcerated. So these are individuals that work through Appleseed, and through our connection now, our new connection with Appleseed, we were able to give care at the Western Health Clinic. This helps ensure safe driving and workplace abilities as these clients enter back into society. So pictured here is Joe Bennett. He is one of Appleseed's clients who visited UAB Eye Care. And then through this other work, Appleseed has really applauded our efforts through seeing patients at Western. We also had an opportunity to get out into the community in 2 other ways. There's more than this, but here's 2 that I'm going to feature. One's through Dustin Scott, who's in the class of 2024, who planned a CEC eye clinic in his family hometown of York, Alabama through the Black Belt program. So he planned this initiative because he was touched by CEC even before he went to optometry school, and still remains in awe of CEC's impact and recognized the need for the eye care services in York. So the clinic was held in September, and his family members attended. His mom came in, his brothers. 53 patients were seen across the day, and I believe another clinic was planned and maybe even happened in January. So those unique individual efforts can have long-term results in the community, and I applaud that. Under Dr. Kathy Weiss's lead, the World Games offered a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for our school to provide care to athletes in Birmingham should they have eye care needs during the World Games. So approximately 3,500 athletes were in our city. I'm sure you all remember it was nice and warm, a little hot and humid during the time that they were all here. Dr. Weiss was the first provider called if an athlete experienced an ocular injury or an emergency or any other eye-related need. Dr. Weiss is a longtime provider of eye care for UAB athletes, something she's very passionate about. She is the lead UAB athletics team eye doctor and founder of Blazer Vision, which is a collaborative effort between UAB Athletics, the School of Optometry, and the Department of Ophthalmology. So what that initial program was sort of mirrored at the World Games. Here's a look of a couple pictures from the World Games. So during the whole process and sort of the lead into the World Games, there was a plaza experience that was rotated by all the different schools where an interactive sort of activity was put on through the provost's office. So each of the schools kind of rotated through, and our school put together an interactive experience that enabled the visitors to come through and test their vision, do some hand-eye coordination and some game ready skills. So to have fun on the plaza. And then we had an athlete who was from Estonia in need of some contact lens care, which was provided by our resident, Dr. Lawson. So additional ways to get involved in the community. Of course, here at home, I'm always very proud that the UAB is such a research power horse. So almost $700 million in NIH funded research comes into UAB. And we help, in our small way, we help with that. Again, we're small but mighty. Discovery or research is very important. I like to say that not only do we give information, the top level information, we create it as well here at the school. So we've had some changes in our research area in the past year. We annually report to ASCO the dollars that we've brought in through research. So over $4 million of awards and grants have come into the School of Optometry for research projects that your faculty members are doing. That ranks us 5th of the 23 schools and colleges of optometry in terms of research ranking across the country. And it's pretty tight between, I would say 2, 3, 4, and 5. Number 1 is Berkeley, and they just have double the number of research faculty that we do. So their numbers are always much higher. 77% of our faculty participate in research in some way. Well, what does that mean? They may be part of a paper, they might be part of a project, they see patients as part of a clinical research study, they presented at a meeting, they advised a student who presented at a meeting, and again, presented at a meeting. And again, I think that that's critically important because we're not just giving information to our students, we are actively creating new knowledge and disseminating it out into the world. We hired 4 new research faculty in 2022. These 4 faculty members really hit the ground running and have been applying for grants and receiving grants from the very beginning. One of our research goals is to maintain and encourage high quality involvement of our faculty, not just our basic science faculty, but our clinical faculty too. So when we were looking to hire new tenure track faculty members, we wanted tenure track faculty that were able to engage with the clinical faculty and perhaps come up with new research projects. And I'm very encouraged that this will occur over the next several years. Our 4 new faculty members, Drs. Edmund Arthur, Safal Kanal, Julie Quinet, and Yu-Chen Wang, brought expanded areas of expertise into our school in terms of their research, but also complemented some of the work that we currently have. The efforts of these new faculty members contributed to the 4% increase in research funding that we had over the last year. Here's a little snapshot of some of the grants that have been brought in over the past year. Of the 22 grants and contracts, here's the grants. And that also helped contribute to our growth in research dollars. So as you can see, our research faculty is very strong, very focused, and very positioned to have a very bright future. One researcher I'd like to feature here today is Dr. Marina Gorbatuk. So we haven't very often had a faculty member who's had a number of R01 grants at the same time. And she recently got a new grant, her 3rd R01 grant. And this is a bit of a different direction for her. So this is funded by the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases and the National Eye Institute together. And in this line of research, she's studying the effects of chemical vesicants. And you might be wondering, what are those? Chemical vesicants are things like nitrogen mustard, which can be, if it touches the skin, results in blistering of the skin, blistering of the eyes, often used in sort of chemical warfare. So her work is to, and the long-term goal of this research is to generate effective medical countermeasures to prevent vesicant-induced ocular damage and also maybe to promote healing. So a little bit on the cutting edge. Her other grant, R01 grant, which she received in 2018, studies unfolded protein response in mice with inherited retinal degeneration and therapeutic approaches for that. So I highlight this because it's important to see that not only are our research faculty, moving in one line of research, but they sometimes do expand into other areas which are very fruitful. I congratulate Dr. Gorbatuk and her successful research team. This look back shows us that we have a lot to be proud of. The school is made up of individuals that work towards a common goal, excellence in all that we do. And we're awarded for that on a routine basis at the school. So in 2022, the Alabama Optometric Association recognized Dr. Sims as Educator of the Year. Dr. Sims joined our faculty full-time in 2003. And I love this clinical story. A clinical encounter with Dr. Mel Shipp, a former faculty member, made Dr. Sims rethink her initial goal of going into private practice. During a clinical encounter, Dr. Sims asked, not doctor then, but Dr. Sims asked him, why can't there be more faculty like you? And he answered her question with a question, why can't it be you? And that's exactly what I can hear him saying. I know him well. Dr. Sims is a past winner of UAB's Odessa Woodfolk Community Service Award, and she is in the office that once belonged to Dr. Shipp. Dr. Shipp went on to be the first African-American optometry school dean in the nation at The Ohio State University. So, Dr. Sims, maybe you have deanship in your career path. If you stay in that office for too much longer, it might soak in. Dr. Sinsich received UAB's President's Award for Excellence in Teaching. This honor recognizes full-time regular faculty members at UAB who have demonstrated exceptional teaching and accomplishments in teaching. Like Dr. Sims, his interest in being an educator was sparked also through an academic experience. Dr. Sinsich said, in many ways, the honor represents the culmination of many thoughtful and inspiring teachers he has had, going all the way back to grammar school. Quote, every one of those teachers was memorable because they had a way of clearly communicating concepts that simply made learning work. And I believe that's hopefully true of what you can receive here at school, in your training. As a capstone, the entire teaching faculty earned the Dr. Jack Bennett Innovation in Optometric Teaching Award from ASCO last year. This special honor recognizes the extraordinary work all the teaching faculty did at the schools and colleges of optometry during the COVID pandemic. Dr. Keisha Brown accepted the award on behalf of our faculty last June. Congratulations to all the members of faculty and staff who received honors last year. Each of you are amazing with your talents and what you give to our school and the community. You're excellent ambassadors for UABSO. We all see Dr. Keisha Elder highlighted on this slide. While it was hard to see her go, playing a role in her becoming the first African-American female to lead a school of optometry in the United States certainly gave us a reason to celebrate her departure. And somebody who you might not know, Dr. Kent Kaiser, was added to the list of esteemed Professor Emeriti in our history. He joined the faculty in 1996 and went on to do much research in the School of Optometry, later going to the Office of Research and becoming an Associate Vice President for Research in UAB's Office of Research. Among his many honors in 2013, he was given the designation of University Professor, which is a status that's been awarded by the university only 16 times in the past. And we think it's really special when we can name somebody emeritus. We have a process through a committee that reviews people who have retired to determine if they are worthy of being put forward to the university and the Board of Trustees for consideration. Congratulations to Dr. Kaiser, to all the others listed on this slide for their contributions and their excellence in all that they do. Our students are equally important representatives of the school and hold national positions. You all are, I'm sure, aware we have AOSA leaders nationally, NOSA leaders nationally, and certainly leaders here at home. The President's Diversity Champion Award, it was given in 2022 by the Office of the President and the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion to our NOSA chapter here, which is really remarkable. There's lots of student organizations on campus, so to have our students be recognized for their work in making sure that we have a culturally diverse, inclusive community is really notable. Also of note, in addition to these other leaders, Brittany Martin was selected as one of 10 optometry students from across the country to participate in a VSP event called Shift 22. And she was one of the 10, so there's really 2 students on stage. So she represented us in that environment, and these other leaders represent us every day, whether AOSA leadership, AOSA trustees, and all the different organizations that all of you are part of. I want to thank you for your efforts. Just like community service, I think being involved in leadership is an important thing to learn in optometry school. So whether you're a behind the scenes helper in a club or you're out front, all of that plays an important role in our profession. So thank you for all you do. At the opening of this presentation, I mentioned that growth was something that described us. And up here on the slide are the new hires that we had in 2022. Each year at a sort of annual holiday event meeting for faculty and staff, we have everyone go around who joined in 2022. And it seemed like the list just went on and on this year. And here they are, the smiling faces of those that joined us. Perhaps the newest face in our group is Dr. John Cruz, who is an alumnus, graduated in 1985, along with Dr. Simon and Swanson. As these three might say, their class might have been the best class to graduate from the School of Optometry, and there could be some debate about that. Most of our hires start their careers here, but occasionally we have those from the community who come back to give back, and we thank Dr. Cruz for joining us. It's also important to celebrate the successes and promotions of our own, whether it be faculty or staff, going to the next level through and being recognized for those efforts, not just locally, but nationally, is critically important to our school going forward and to the individuals who are promoted. So this past year, we had several that received promotions. So I want to thank all of those who were promoted, both faculty and staff. Thank you for all the ways you contribute to the school. Most of the contributions have been over a long period of time, have been noted, and certainly now are being recognized. So thanks for all you do again to support the excellence of our school. Sometimes though, we have people who retire and leave us, and I think all of you loved working with Randall in optical. He certainly was somebody who I enjoyed working with. He would always help whatever was needed. I suppose this is stated best by Dr. Jim Marburg, who has been in the past a faculty member who taught in our clinics on a part-time basis, but he's been very involved in the school and knows Randall. He said that what we'll miss about Randall is his passion for the profession, love of teaching, and affection for the students, dedication to the school, and honestly, his willingness to help anyone, and you all know that, so he's missed with us. Another retirement we had is Dr. John Laurent. Now, he kind of retired in 21 from some of his more didactic type of teaching activities, but he still was coming in one day a week all the way up through this calendar year ending in December, one day a week in the scleral contact lens clinic. So while we don't necessarily say goodbye to them forever, we say goodbye for just now and hope that they'll come and to our events in the future. We are internally grateful for development and our alumni, and they're commonly tied to one another because our alumni are very supportive of our school, both with their time and their finances. So we like to say that we partner with them. We partner with our alums who are part of state associations to help those state associations do well also. So in terms of donor impact, we calculate the number of dollars that we receive through scholarship, gifts, and others. And again, I mentioned the Cooper Vision gift earlier. That then results in sometimes some endowments that spin off scholarships each year. And so last year we awarded 85 scholarships. And I think that that's sort of an unknown thing that hopefully helps many of you as you go through your optometry career. I know that sometimes just getting that extra $1,000 can really come at a time where you might have just really need it. So I hope that the hard work through the development and alumni team makes your life as a student a little bit easier. Our Alumni Association board is also very impactful to us. And I would say these 4 impacts are probably the thing that we're most proud of in the past year. And that would probably be the donation of money to purchase a new laser. We've not had a laser in the School of Optometry before. It was used in the laser class just this past weekend. And so we are grateful to the Alumni Association for deciding that they were going to make this big contribution to us. They've donated money for scholarships in the past, completing scholarships that weren't quite all the way funded to be endowed. So they've really done a significant amount of work to raise dollars and give dollars that benefit the school. They host an alumni transition panel, which many of you will have the opportunity to participate in. They provide student travel grants and sponsor student appreciation events. And 9 named scholarships come from the Alumni Association that they cultivated over years of endowment. So that's actually really impressive as well. We also each year name alumnus that are either the Young OD of the year, which is Dr. Valencia Wells, the Alumnus of the Year, Dr. Howell Finley. And then we also recognize our alumni president, which rotates annually. So these 3 individuals all have contributed to their communities. Dr. Wells is here in Birmingham. And I think that the behind the scenes work that maybe you don't see from our alumni board is really remarkable. We like to celebrate families too. So we have legacy families. We now are at the time where we've had about 26 or 27 families where a parent has had a child who have both graduated as alums from our school. And we give them, I mean, it's a small token for the amount of money that they've given the school in tuition, but we give them a pin that has, if you see in the middle of it, a tree. And so when this family, when they decided that they were going to join, so this, we have Paris Mullins, who graduated, I think, in 85 as well, right? So that's one more member of the class of 85 that we're talking about today. So fast forward to 2021, his son, Nick, graduated from our program, and they wanted to design a new logo that represented them coming together and working together as father and son, and they put the tree on, and then they told us that they had put the tree on, and we were just delighted that the School of Optometry and both of them being alums was so important to them. Many of you went to the Springer lecture this year, and you heard Dr. Leo Sems give his presentation. He entitled his presentation, How Discovery Favors the Prepared Mind. And this lecture invites somebody who's going to present clinical and or research to all of us in order to enlighten, kind of give a history of how they've contributed to the field. And I hope that you all enjoyed Dr. Sim's presentation. He is there sitting in the picture with Mrs. Springer, who's 94. Doesn't she look great? She doesn't come to the lecture anymore, but we were able to have lunch with her. The Springer family, Dr. Donald Springer, is really the father of the school. He wasn't dean, but he basically brought the first dean here and had the idea for the optometry school. You know, we have the Springer conference room in the clinic, and that was part of their gift, in addition to the gift that supports bringing this lecture here each year. And it's in its 24th, well, we had the 24th lecture this past year. So what about 23? What's going to happen? As we pause to think about all of our successes in 22, which were numerous, it's important to sort of stop for a moment and think about what's going to happen and how we can all play a small role in making the School of Optometry better in 2023. So I've chosen kind of two words, and these seem like boring words relative to growth, but I think they're critical and super, they will help us do the things that we need to do. We can always do better at communication, and we can always be better with efficiency. But if we call these two things out, they really are hand in hand. If we call these two things out, then we can actually be thinking actively about all the activities that we do in terms of all of our mission, our pillars, to try and do what we do with less and do it better. So I've challenged the faculty and staff to kind of think about a professional goal. I'll challenge all of you students to, and it can't just be pass boards or get an A. It should be you're striving towards something that will make you a better professional. So I encourage you to think about something and then write it down, because if you write it down, you're one step towards it maybe happening, and then start chipping away at it. It might be a 5-year plan for you. Buy a practice or become an Academy Fellow, whatever it might be. I hope that you'll take the opportunity to look forward into 2023, maybe related to communication and efficiency, and plan your goal and let us help you achieve it. We're going to be hiring some new faculty. We have 4 clinical positions open, and so I am very hopeful. The search committee is out there. I'm hopeful that we will be able to bring on 4 new clinical faculty. If there's any residents in the room, I'll say this could be you, like Dr. Shipp said to Dr. Sims. And to you sitting out there in the audience thinking, I'm in my 2nd year, there's no way. I say never. You just never know when you're going to get that fire lit by a faculty member or yourself, and wondering if this is in your future. So it's my hope that in the next year we'll have many new smiling faces. We will be able to fill staff positions. Right now, we're trying to embrace staff, sometimes moving into new positions that are vacated for another reason. So sort of within house promotion, as well as finding some new faces from the outside. So you'll see some new staff members in the next year as well. We will continue to do a little bit of clinic renovations, a little bit scaled down, but the low vision clinic and the low vision clinic area will be finished hopefully in 2023, all things going well. So stay tuned. I'm hopeful that I'll have many more great things to report to you next year. And I thank you for all that you do and all of your efforts. Very appreciated. Here's to 2023.